My fiancée slept with my brother the night before our wedding, then blamed me for ruining everything. You know how people say your wedding day is supposed to be the happiest day of your life? Yeah, mine started with a phone call at 2:37 a.m. from my best man. And it ended with a destroyed hotel room, my mother crying in the hallway, and my fiancé, in his shirt, not mine. Let me back up. My name's Josh. I'm 29 now, but 2 years ago, I was standing on the edge of what I thought was going to be a perfect life. I was engaged to Claire, 27, smart, funny, gorgeous, and, as it turns out, a professional liar. And I had an older brother, Adam, who was the golden boy of the family. Always was. We weren't exactly close, but I never thought I'd need to lock up my future wife around him. Until that night, Claire and I met at a friend's engagement party, which is ironic in the cruelest way possible. She was wearing this ridiculous red dress, laughing way too loud at something someone said, and I just watched her for a good 5 minutes. She caught me staring, raised an eyebrow, then walked right up to me and asked, "Do you always gawk at strangers or just ones in red?" I was done for. From there, everything moved fast. We dated for just over a year. She moved into my apartment. We adopted a dog. Her name was Penny. And Claire loved her like she was our baby. My family loved her too. Especially Adam. Adam, the older brother who got the grades, the looks, the charm, and somehow, my parents' eternal favor. He could do no wrong. Even when he totaled Dad's truck in college. Even when he dropped out of med school without telling anyone. Still, I never blamed him. That's who Adam was. Charming, slippery, always landing on his feet. But Claire? Claire worshipped him. She'd always say, "It's crazy how alike you two look." Or, "Adam is just magnetic, isn't he?" I laughed it off. I mean, I wasn't jealous. I had her. She chose me, right? The wedding planning was chaotic. But Claire was into every detail. She color-coded spreadsheets, fought over centerpieces, spent 3 weeks choosing the right shade of cream for napkins. I was just happy she was happy. Our rehearsal dinner was the night before the wedding. Everyone was there, my friends, her family, Adam giving toasts like he was running for office. He told a story about me crying after breaking my arm when I was 11. And everyone laughed, even Claire, hard. But I saw something weird in Adam's eyes when she laughed. A flash, something smug. I brushed it off. That night, Claire said she was staying in her suite with her bridesmaids. Tradition. She smiled. I kissed her goodnight, told her I'd see her at the altar. I didn't know that was the last time I'd see her as the woman I planned to marry. At exactly 2:37 a.m., my phone buzzed violently on the nightstand. Caller ID. Mark, best man. My stomach flipped. He wasn't the type to call unless something was wrong. I picked up. Josh. His voice was low, urgent. "I need you to come downstairs. Now. Don't bring anyone." I sat up. "What's going on?" He hesitated. I think you need to see something for yourself." I threw on a hoodie, grabbed my keycard, and slipped out of the hotel suite. The hallway was silent, carpet muffling every step like a slow drumbeat in my ears. Mark was waiting near the lobby elevator, pale and jittery. Without a word, he motioned me to follow him. We took the service stairs down to the second floor, where the bridal suite was. My heart was pounding. He stopped in front of room 217. "Claire's room," he whispered. "Don't knock, just listen." I pressed my ear to the door. At first, I heard muffled voices, laughter, then something else, a rhythmic sound I couldn't misinterpret. A moan. Then her voice. Claire's voice. Laughing, giggling, and then, like a hammer to the chest, I heard her whisper, "God, Adam, you're so bad. What if someone finds out?" I stumbled back like I'd been punched. Mark caught me, eyes wide. "I'm sorry, man. I didn't know how to tell you." I don't remember walking back to my suite. I don't remember slamming the door shut or punching the mirror in the bathroom. But I do remember seeing my reflection, blood trickling down my knuckles, and feeling numb. An hour later, I called the front desk, told them to cancel the morning breakfast, block access to my room, and not to let anyone in unless I said so. By 7 a.m., my mother was banging on the door. "Josh, honey, people are arriving. What's going on?" I opened the door just a crack and said flatly, "The wedding's off." The next 10 minutes were chaos. Claire showed up in a panic, still in her silk robe, mascara smeared under her eyes. "Josh, what's going on?" "Your mom said." I cut her off. "I know. About Adam. About you." She froze. Then, like flipping a switch, she started crying. Real tears. But I'd seen her act before. "It was a mistake," she sobbed. "I was drunk. He came into the room." I barked. "Save it. You called his name. I heard you. You weren't drunk." She collapsed to the floor, sobbing louder. But I didn't care anymore. Adam? He never even came to find me. My own brother disappeared before sunrise. Coward. My parents tried to calm things down. "Maybe it's just stress. Maybe you misunderstood." "Josh, it's your wedding day." I stared at them. "If you defend him again, I swear to God, we're done." They fell silent. By noon, the guests had been notified. No ceremony, no explanations, just silence and whispers. And me? I sat in that same suite, looking out the window, wondering how the hell this had become my life. I didn't go home right away. I checked out of the hotel that same evening, left my suit hanging in the closet, and drove aimlessly for hours. The wedding was supposed to be in this beautiful vineyard outside the city. Everything had been booked, the photographer, the food, the music, and now it was just a broken promise. Paid in full. I ended up at a cheap motel off the highway. I sat in the parking lot for over an hour before going in. Just me, a backpack, and the silence. Over the next few days, people tried to reach out. Claire called over 30 times, left voicemails sobbing, begging, then angry texts blaming me for walking out, for humiliating her in front of everyone. She said I overreacted, that it didn't mean anything, that I shouldn't throw away everything over one stupid night. One stupid night? She threw away forever for 5 minutes with my brother. Adam didn't call, not once. Eventually, I got a short email from him. "Look, man, I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. I'm sorry. Hope we can talk someday." That was it. No explanation, no remorse. Just that. I never replied. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal. It wasn't even the embarrassment. It was the silence from my parents. They didn't take sides. They didn't ask me how I was holding up. They didn't show up. They just acted like it didn't happen. I remember calling my mom 2 weeks later. I asked her flat out, "Why haven't you called? Why haven't you said anything?" She said, "We didn't want to pressure you. You're an adult. We thought you'd reach out when you're ready." Pressure me? I got cheated on by my fiancé and my own brother, and they treated it like I'd canceled a barbecue. That call ended with me saying, "You picked your golden boy again. Don't call me anymore." And I hung up. I moved out of my apartment, cut all social media, changed my number. I took a 6-month sabbatical from work and disappeared into the mountains for a while. Stayed with a friend who ran a cabin lodge, chopped wood, cooked, walked in silence. It was the most peaceful I'd felt in years. Somewhere in that quiet, I started to feel human again. I wasn't Josh, the betrayed groom, anymore. I was just Josh, and that was enough. There was this diner at the edge of town. Old, faded paint on the sign. Vinyl booths. Coffee that tasted like burnt hope. But I went there every morning. Like clockwork. It was routine. And after the mess I'd been through, routine felt like a lifeline. And that's where I met Emily. She wasn't some cliché waitress who saved the broken man. No. She was just a girl who brought me coffee, smiled without expectation, and remembered I took 2 creams. No sugar. One morning, she asked, "You always sit alone. Why?" I could have lied, could have brushed it off. But something about her, I don't know, maybe it was the way she asked. Like she wasn't judging, just curious, just real. So I told her, not everything, not at first, just. I was supposed to be married 6 months ago. It didn't happen. She nodded, didn't push. The next day, she brought me a slice of pie. On the house, she said, because surviving heartbreak deserves dessert. And for the first time in forever, I laughed, really laughed. We started talking more. I found out she'd been through her own wreckage. Her fiancé died in a car accident 2 years earlier. Drunk driver, hit and run. She said something that still sits with me. People think grief only comes after death. But losing someone who's still breathing, that's its own kind of funeral. God, that hit me like a punch to the soul. We weren't healing each other. We were just existing, side by side, quietly, gently, like two burned-out stars learning how to glow again. We never rushed it. No whirlwind romance. No declarations under moonlight. Just coffee, conversations, walks in the snow. And one night, as we watched snowflakes tap against the window, she whispered, "Do you ever wonder why people break each other?" I looked at her and said, "Because they don't know what to do with something that pure. So they ruin it before it can leave them." She nodded, and took my hand. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't cinematic. But it was the first time someone touched me without a lie behind their fingers. And that felt like salvation. Winter melted into spring. The snow gave way to soft rains and budding trees. By now, Emily and I had become something. We never gave it a name. But we started spending more time together. Cooking dinner, arguing over old movie endings, watching sunsets in silence. And for the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. I was learning how to be whole again. Not because someone fixed me, but because someone saw me, broken parts and all, and stayed. Then came the email. Subject line. From Adam. My hands froze above the keyboard. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. He wrote, "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I heard you moved upstate. I just wanted to talk. Just once. I owe you that. No apology. No mention of Claire. Just guilt, thinly disguised as closure." I didn't reply. 2 days later, my mom called. I hadn't heard her voice in almost a year. "Josh, honey," she said, "I know you're angry, but it's Adam's birthday next week. We're having dinner. Just the family. He asked if you could come." I almost laughed. The audacity. She added, "He's going through a rough time. Claire left him. Took the kids." Wait, kids? I didn't even know they got married. Apparently, after I disappeared, they eloped. 2 kids in 3 years. And now? Divorce. Custody battles. Messy finances. Suddenly, I made sense again. The forgotten brother. The backup son. The one they thought they could call when everything else crumbled. I hung up without answering. That night, I sat with Emily in her kitchen, watching the kettle boil. I told her everything. About the email, the call, the kids, the guilt creeping back in. Like smoke under a door I thought I'd sealed shut. She didn't say anything right away. She just poured the tea, set it down gently, and then looked at me. "You don't owe them peace," she said. "You owe yourself peace. And sometimes, that means not opening the door again." That sentence? It shattered something in me. And right after that, it healed something too. But fate wasn't done testing me yet. A week later, I got a letter. A real one. In the mailbox. No return address. It was from Claire. It started off with, "I know I don't deserve this," and spiraled into a 6-page essay about regret. How, the night before the wedding wasn't planned. How, Adam manipulated me. How, we were both broken people trying to feel whole. She ended with, "I sometimes dream of what our life would have been like. I see you holding our daughter. I see the house we never built. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I never stopped loving you." I folded the letter, lit a match, and watched it burn in the kitchen sink. Not out of hate, but because the man she was writing to didn't exist anymore. That man died in a hotel suite at 3 a.m. 1 year ago. Emily came home as I was rinsing the ashes. She asked, "Everything okay?" I smiled. "For real?" "Yeah," I said. "I think it finally is." By June, the sky turned to glass. Emily and I walked along the lake. The kind of evening where even the wind speaks in whispers. The water was still, holding the moon like a secret. And I realized, it had been weeks since I last dreamed about the wedding that never was. No more waking up with my heart racing. No more unsent letters. No more checking inboxes for people who no longer mattered. I hadn't forgiven, but I had, finally, let go. One lazy afternoon, while unpacking an old box, I found the wedding invitation. My name, Claire's name, Valentine's Day, gold letters. "Forever starts here." I stared at it for a long time. I didn't tear it up. Didn't burn it. I just thought, if that day hadn't happened, Would I have ever learned who I really was? And here's what I've learned. Not everyone you love is meant to stay. And not every person who walks away leaves you broken. Some leave you clearer. Some betrayals, as deep as they cut, are actually a beginning, the painful kind. But a beginning nonetheless. If you're listening to this right now, holding your own quiet pain, let me say this. The ones who hurt you don't get to define you. They were a chapter, not the title. You don't have to forgive before you're ready. You don't have to rush healing. You just have to choose better. Slowly, daily, like I chose Emily. And if someday, you find yourself in a quiet diner, in a town you've never been, and someone sets a slice of pie in front of you without asking, don't think it's just dessert. It might be life, softly asking you, would you like to begin again? Say yes. Begin again.